What's going on, everyone? It's Chris, and welcome back to once again another episode of the NFL prediction show, or ManicManiac predicts. No, this is the official NFL prediction show. Okay, show up, people. Well, open your eyes. This is the real deal right here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on and watching this video. It was a pretty interesting week in the NFL. Not a lot of exciting games, but nonetheless, some interesting results, including the Dolphins falling out of the playoff picture and the Buccaneers jumping into the playoff picture. So, yeah, we got some interesting names being thrown around, and we got quite the slate ahead of us in Week 14. So let's just jump right into that. Well, actually, first, let's get to our kickoff topic first. And today, I want to talk about bandwagonism. I guess that maybe that's a word. I don't know. But the idea of a bandwagon. And I in the beginning of the show, I told you that I was a fan of 3 teams. The Giants were my main team. Growing up, even though I didn't watch any football, in fact, couldn't care less about the sport, the Giants were still my favorite team because I love the color blue. And then once I started getting into football, they were my main team that I rooted for. And then the Jets have been a family team for quite some time, so that's why I have always rooted for them. And then with the Bills, I jumped onto them and rooted for them the minute I started watching football because I love their story of how they're just the ultimate underdogs in the league right now, who haven't made the playoffs since 1998. And obviously you have like the Browns too, and the Raiders are definitely like an underdog story now, even though they're coming and out and just kicking ass this year. But there's something about the Bills that's just really intriguing to me, the fact that they haven't had success for so long. And they had that 4 Super Bowl stretch where they just could not win a Super Bowl. Even though they kept on making it there, and it was just it's interesting. And again, they're also a New York team, and they're the only New York team really. So since I'm a big New York sports fan, other than like the Yankees, because that's a little the Yankees. They people get too superior when they root for the Yankees. I can't. I'm not like that. That's not all Yankee fans, but I'm just saying, digging myself a hole. Anyways, so. To me, these are my 3 teams I've always rooted for, but I will be honest with you, it does sound like kind of a bandwagon, right? Especially when you've read my tweets over the past 3 years. In 2014, when the Bills were kind of surging near the end and could potentially have made the playoffs, I was rooting hardcore for them because the Jets weren't making it and the Giants were making it, so I started really like hardcore rooting for them as if they were my main team. Last year, the Jets were that team that I kept on rooting on, and hoping for them to make the playoffs, except for that last game against the Bills, where I completely turned against the Bills, and was hoping that I would never have to root against them, but this was the time that I had to because I wanted the Jets to make the playoffs. And then this year's the Giants, because the Giants are doing pretty well this year, and they're right now the only team that really has a clear shot for the playoffs if they keep on doing doing well on the field, minus of course probably last week and this week with the Cowboys coming up. So to me, I don't know if I would consider this a bandwagon, but I know that there's some instances where people have rooted for, like, I guess right now, the Cowboys. People are jumping on board to the Cowboys because they're really successful right now, and when they start sucking, people are going to start jumping off of that bandwagon. So to me, I get that. I get that a lot of people are just, they're so sick of seeing people jump onto these bandwagons and, really just, say that, oh yeah, this has been my team for so long, and it really hasn't been. It's been like a month. And I get that frustration. I think it's annoying when people say that they've been a fan of something their whole life when they really haven't been. They've only been a fan of the team since they've been playing well. These 3 teams, to me, there's different reasons why I've started rooting for those teams, but I've stuck by these 3. And I've had teams that I've definitely rooted for when these 3 teams are out of contention. But I think that's an understandable thing. And I want to make a point in favor of bandwagonism, and not the people who are gonna say that they've been fans their whole lives, and then really they've only been a fan for a month. Those people I get not liking, but for the people that want to jump onto a team that they feel like they're having fun watching, that they're enjoying the team and enjoying what they're creating and wanting them to win the Super Bowl, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I think, for me, I'm gonna make the assumption right now the Giants, they didn't play well on Sunday. They may not make the playoffs, and I'm willing to accept that fact. So if all three of these teams were eliminated, I'd probably be rooting for the Oakland Raiders to win the Super Bowl, because they haven't made the playoffs since 2002, and they are just absolutely surging at the right time. And I really like the team. I like the players on the team. I would love to see them have success and win the Super Bowl this year. But they're not my team that I root for all the time. They're just a team that I would like to have success and root for, and that's okay. I think that idea of bandwagonism, when you jump onto a team and you start rooting for them, I think that's okay. I don't think that you should just, lay in the grave that your team made you. I understand the logic, but I also think that it is so much better and much more enjoyable and less miserable when you get to kind of being like, okay, my team sucked this year. Let me jump onto this team. Let me root for them, and let me enjoy the football season still. I think the idea that we have to shun anyone that tries to jump teams or tries to root for multiple teams, I think it's bullshit, and I think people have sticks up their asses and think that they are, oh no, you must stick with one team and only one team only, and if they go 0-16, you must lay in the 0-16 bed and not watch any football for the rest of the year, not root for anyone else. No, fuck you. Fuck you. You're ruining everyone's fun. Get over yourself. So that's, to me, that's my defense of bandwagonism. If you enjoy the sport and you want to continue watching the sport, don't worry if your teams don't make the playoffs. Jump onto another team that you're interested in, or maybe not have a dog in the fight. Maybe just sit back, relax, and enjoy some playoff football, or just any football down the stretch. And that's what I usually have done, although I have had my biases here and there. When the Giants play, I get really excited. They play well. I get really bummed that they play really shitty. Right now, I'm filming this as the Jets are still getting crushed by the Colts. I'm actually filming this early out right now because I need to get my head off of the television screen. I cannot watch this game. So to me, I have, I absolutely have the emotions of watching these teams, and I stick by them. But I also enjoy just kind of letting them go and enjoying other football. And I think people need to understand that is a fraction of bandwagonism that people need to accept. The other half of it, like I said, I can understand the anger by it, but just enjoying another team's success is not the end of the world, okay? There's much bigger issues out there. So just a little defense. My question to you guys is, have you ever bandwagoned? Have you ever rooted for a team that you don't usually root for, like hardcore going into the playoffs? You're almost owning this team going down the stretch. Not necessarily saying that you've been a fan for your whole life, but just saying like, yeah, this is the team I want to win the Super Bowl right here. Yes. Let me know, because I always am interested in teams, that people that are willing to put their team aside and root for another team for the playoffs. So let's see what happens. Okay, let's get to the prediction record. Had a little bit of a speed bump this week. Went 9-6. Not bad, but not good. I'm at 123 to 67, and it's a bummer. But hey, look, I'm almost at the point where I am like well above. Like I could cut 123 in half, and then that would be the amount of incorrect picks that I have. Like that's good. That's good. But we're not there yet. But we're doing well. We kind of fell out. Like if you went to the expert pick site and you see all the picks that people have, I have now fallen into like the top 15, top 20, not really top 3 anymore. But that's okay. That's not why I do this. I do this because I love talking football. And I need to get some stuff off the chest because I don't really have a lot of people around me that I talk to often that are huge NFL fans. Another reason why I do this. So, yeah, I'm lonely. Yeah, I'm just gonna have like this little therapy session right here, talking about my bandwagon bullshit, and talking about not having any other NFL fans in my life. It's a terrible thing. Just kidding. I enjoy doing this show, and I hope that one day we'll have a little community of people that love talking football, because I sure do love it. So let's talk. So that's our record. Let's talk about this week, because we have probably my favorite slate of games to this point. I mean, I know a few weeks ago we kind of had that, but this is really a really good weekend ahead. Almost every single game provides some sort of intrigue, regardless of like the stakes of it all. I think all of them could be very interesting to keep track of. So let's look first at Thursday Night Football. The Raiders at the Chiefs, probably the biggest game of the season, and probably the biggest game Thursday Night Football has ever had. So the Raiders, to me, have been on this streak that has been unbelievable. They are playing so well on both sides of the ball too. They've gotten so much better on defense, and the way they came back on Sunday, they were completely dominated in the first half by the Bills, and they had a 29-0 surge at the end to end the game on 2 scores. And that or have a 2-score lead at the end of the game. It was really unbelievable, and the Raiders are developing just this winning culture, a culture that they have not been used to in so long. So really, just congratulations to the Raiders and their fans for being able to get to this point. With all that being said, I want to apologize to the Chiefs, because once again, after they lost to the Buccaneers, I've been disrespecting them again, because I felt like, how could they lose to the Buccaneers and then go ahead and beat the Broncos, and how are they going to beat the Falcons next week? And they did both. It just turns out that the Buccaneers are now a really good football team. So there you have it. So the Chiefs, to me, and look, I know that they are not like the team that everyone's talking about, but they have been playing really well. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for what they've been able to put together. The key to this game is that, as far as when I am first hearing about it, this is Monday night that I'm filming this. As of right now, I'm hearing that Jeremy Maclin might be back for the Chiefs. That was their main wide receiver for that team. If he's back, that's a huge return for the Chiefs. And Tyreek Hill, who has basically grown into the main figure in the Chiefs offense and special teams even, and how he, and then the dominant defense that's been the Kansas City Chiefs as well. I gotta tell you, I think the Chiefs are going to sweep the Raiders. I don't like saying that. I really like the Raiders. I really want them to win on Thursday. But I'm going with the Chiefs because I just think I don't want to sleep on this team anymore. They're playing really, really good football. And they have been for the past 2 years. So I bow down to the Chiefs, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in this game. Hey, if the Raiders win, the Raiders deserve to get a bye for the playoffs. If they win this game, 100%, because this is gonna be a tough Chiefs game, and it's gonna be a fantastic game. I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's move on to Vikings at Jaguars. Yes, we have to fill the gap between that game and the Sunday Night Football game. All right, we'll get through it. Okay. But no, the Vikings and the Jaguars it's actually a little bit more intriguing than you think. Yes, Blake Bortles has had the most regressed year that I've seen in like a quarterback, or at least that many other people have seen. He had such a great year in 2015, and now he's just not playing well. He actually has more pick sixes than career wins, which is really fucked up when you think about it. And that's really depressing. But the thing about the Jaguars, though, is that for the past 2 games, they've played it very close with their teams, against the Bills and against the Broncos. So, with a Vikings team that's kind of sliding, I would not be surprised if the Jaguars take this game. However, I can't really see one element or another that would lead to that right now. I still think Sam Bradford, who has been a bright spot for this team, believe it or not. I know so many people want to go ahead and blame him because he's always been a quarterback that people want to blame, but he's not been the Vikings' problem. I do believe that that quarterback he's gonna get the job done and try to get the job done, and that defense, which hasn't really been as dominant as it has, I think that will get the job done as well. So I'm going with the Vikings. All right, Redskins at the Eagles, and this could have been a big divisional matchup, but after the Eagles losing, it's hard for me to see a path right now for the Eagles because they have a tough schedule. They have to face the Redskins this week. Then they have to go. I think they'll remain at home. No, I think they're on the road. They go on against Baltimore Ravens, who have a really tough defense. Then they host the Giants on Thursday Night Football. So after facing a really tough defense, have to go ahead and take on the Giants, who I don't know what their state will be by that point, on Thursday Night Football. And then they have to take on the Cowboys Week 17, which may not be as bad because probably at that point the Cowboys will be resting starters. But still, though, it is tough territory for the Eagles. It'll be very tough to see them winning out at this point. And as for the Redskins, they had a tough game on Sunday, but I think that was more the Cardinals playing well than the Washington Redskins playing bad. So I'm going to go Redskins on this one. If the Eagles pull it out, though, thanks, Eagles, because we kind of need it. Giants fan here. Okay. Broncos at Titans. And, I was looking at this matchup, and I was thinking, all right, well, this is going to be a cupcake for the Broncos. They can... they have a tough stretch down the line, but, they can take this Titans win, right? I'm not so sure about that, because they've played it pretty close against their last 2 opponents. The Chiefs are a very good football team, as we talked about earlier, and they kept it close, went into overtime, they ended up losing, so okay. But they kept it close against the Jaguars, and I know that again, I made the argument for the Jaguars, right? But let me make the argument in the other direction here. Because are the Broncos maybe slowing down? They're not as dominant a defense as they were last year. Their offense continues to be just kind of there. It just kind of exists. It's not terrible, but it's kind of moving the games along. The Titans have been a pretty hot team, and they lost to the Colts last week, or I'm sorry, 3 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago they had the Bears, and that was a close game. It probably shouldn't have been for the Titans. This team, coming off of a bye, I think could get the job done against the Denver Broncos. This is an upset pick. That's the only reason I'm picking it. I just think their running game has been fantastic all year round, and I think that against a rush defense that doesn't play as well as their passing defense, the Broncos don't have as great of a rush defense at all. Having that run game is going to be huge in this game, and I think that's going to be the main factor that gets this Titans team the W. I'm going with the Titans at home. I am taking risks, but I feel pretty good about it. All right, Colts at the Texans, Texans at the Colts. So to me, this is huge, right? If the Titans win, I mean that is now that these two teams are competing to stay in it in the AFC South race. If the Titans lose, these guys are playing for sole possession of first place. So this is a high stakes game, no matter what. So to me, right now, there was a long streak of time where the Texans did not win in Indianapolis. I think last year was the first time they did it. I don't think it's going to happen this time around. I think the Colts are playing way too good on the offensive side of the ball, and Brock Osweiler is not. So I'm going with the Colts. Cardinals at Dolphins. Dolphins. Jesus Christ, Dolphins. What happened? You guys completely dropped the ball against the Baltimore. Wow. I did not mean to make that slight alliteration, but it worked. But I gotta say, the Dolphins to me are still. I think they're still good contend, but it's tough to lose to the Ravens. But hey, give the Ravens credit; they have a really tough defense. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. But right now you take on the Cardinals team that's coming off their first win in a little while, and now. This could go either way. I can honestly say, because the Dolphins played the 49ers really tough, and then the 49ers went on to be blown out by the Chicago Bears last week. So let's just think about that for a second. So the Dolphins, to me, are still definitely in the playoff race. I think they can still be a playoff team, but they're going to have to get through a tough Cardinals group. And, if they can do it, good for them. But it's going to be tough. I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one. But I would not be surprised if David Johnson completely obliterated Dolphins. Who knows? We'll see what happens. All right. Bears at Lions. So the Lions are coming off of one of their best wins of the season. Easily. They were just phenomenal. And Drew Brees had one of his worst games against the Detroit Lions. I don't know if that shows anything about Drew Brees, but I mean, I doubt it really. Drew Brees has just continued to play so well, so I think that gives a lot of credit to the Detroit Lions defense. And if that's the case, this team has really earned a lot of respect points to the point that this team might be competing for a bye. A bye. Think about that. The Detroit Lions with the Dallas Cowboys could be your two bye teams. Think about that looking back at your 2016 preseason predictions. I sure have nightmares about that. So so the Detroit Lions right now get to host the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears doing okay right now. But I don't think they're going to keep on going well. I don't think they're going to keep on doing well. So I'm going with the Lions, and they are going to be a step closer to taking the NFC North title. All right, Chargers at the Panthers. Panthers, oh my goodness gracious. I was hoping that they would be at least a little bit competitive against Seattle, and they weren't. And the Chargers are coming off a pretty bad loss against the Buccaneers. I'm glad I picked the Buccaneers. I felt like they were the better team in this instance, and they were, at least for that day. And now this is a do or die game for both of these teams. If the Chargers lose, they're out of it. If the Panthers lose, they're out of it. I mean, these guys may essentially already be out of it. But this right now, I think this is close to being an elimination game for both teams. So, a lot at stake. What can happen? What can go right for either of these teams? I'm gonna go with the team that has shown that they're much more competitive right now, and that is the Chargers. So, sorry, Panthers. Just you had to do something against the Seattle Seahawks, and they couldn't do it. So, San Diego Chargers beat the Panthers. And really just dig the Panthers a deep hole, as the Panthers now have a clinched losing record if they lose. So, rough break for the NFC champions. All right, moving on to the Steelers at Bills. Steelers at Bills are this could be a fun game because this is a rush defense that's gotten a lot better in the Steelers, and a rush offense that has been one of the best in the league, other than obviously the Cowboys. Now, to me, I keep on using to me. I'm sorry that this is all to me. This is the whole show is about me. All right, it's about me. Damn it. Okay, so the Bills are a team that has shown that they can play against really good teams, and they've shown at times that they can lose against pretty bad teams, and it's been like a back and forth year for the Bills. So what can happen against the Steelers, who've also kind of had a back and forth year? I just think the Steelers are building on momentum, and they had a really, really good game against the Giants. I just think that they're going to carry that in to Buffalo and take care of business, so I am going with the Steelers. Bengals at Browns. The Cleveland Browns are entering this game with their last chance to win a game in 2016. I just don't see them winning another game after this. I mean, they have the Steelers in the coming weeks. I think that'll be their Week 17 matchup. They have the Bills next week, which, I mean, hey, that could potentially be a win. Then they have the Chargers, again, a potential win, but I think those two teams are a little bit more tough to play right now. And then they have the Steelers in Week 17. So to me, I keep on saying that. I'm so sorry. That's gonna be one of the annoying catchphrases I use a lot. Like saying "we" when I talk about the Jets. That's gonna be going along that line. So the Browns are they have to win this game. This is their time. The Bengals, yes, they got the big win against the Eagles, but the Eagles just have not been playing well. So I mean, look, the Bengals, give them credit, but they are just, I don't see them making a hard run, and I think that they'll do themselves a favor if they lose this game to help their draft stock and then hurt the Browns draft stock for getting number 1 overall. Come on, that would be the ultimate revenge, right? So I think that right now, if RG3 starts, Robert Griffin III, who I thought coming into this year would have this amazing comeback. Unfortunately, that couldn't happen because he got injured week 1. But if he can have those skills of a great quarterback, hopefully they can finally get their win. I think for the first time this season, I am picking the Cleveland Browns to win this game. Boom. There you go. That's it. There you go. There's your W. I hope. Jets at the 49ers. Oh my god, this is a stinker. Oh my god, these two teams were just blown out. Like this would be like, I don't know if anyone reads Tom Fornelli on the CBS Sports. He does college football, but he does his bottom 25 rankings. These guys would be on the very bottom of that list, and he calls the worst game of the week of the two worst teams on that list, or the two worst teams on the list that are playing each other. He calls that like the bottom 25 game of the century of the week. That would be this game. This would be that game right now. So the New York Jets are just stinking up the joint. Got eliminated from the playoffs. 49ers did the same. Someone's got to have to improve their draft stock. I don't know. I really do not know. I don't know who to pick for this one. I think at the end of the day, I wanted to pick the Jets, but after seeing what I've seen tonight, this is tough. This is the toughest game to pick all week, and it doesn't even matter. Oh my god. It would just put a cap on the Jets season. It would be like the worst thing to happen to them if they lose to a Niners team that has won one game this season, and that was in week 1. I gotta go. I'm going with the Niners. That's it. I went with the Niners. I can't see it happening for the Jets. It was just a mess. It was an absolute mess, especially against a Colts defense that's not really that good. Can't see it happening. Ugh, that's scarred. That's scarred. All right, Falcons at the Rams. Falcons coming off a loss against the Chiefs and are just really they need to get this big win against the Rams. And the Rams are not playing well on offense at all, and their defense is just it's not helping them. It's not helping them. They're considered one of the best. They want to be considered one of the best defenses, and they haven't been this year. So I'm going with the Falcons. Seahawks at the Packers. This to me is intriguing because it could. I said to me again, didn't I? Damn it. This could be one of the most intriguing matchups of the week because the Seahawks had a dominating game. However, they lost Earl Thomas for the year. Now going to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Can the Seahawks get revenge on the Packers from last year when they went to Green Bay? I don't know because Aaron Rodgers is on a little bit of a surge. And, I think that this team has built a little bit of momentum now, and they could win out down the stretch. But the Seahawks showed how dominant they were, whether or not they had Earl Thomas in. So I'm going with the Seahawks, but this is intriguing, especially if the Packers win. That could pull the Packers into the wild card spotlight. They can make a good run to, maybe get the Giants out of the wild card, or the Buccaneers, or even the Redskins. Who knows? But the Packers can make a run to get into the wild card and even maybe win the division over the Lions. Who knows? But so we'll see. Speaking of the Buccaneers, Saints at Buccaneers, and this is the first time. I think this is the last divisional, rivalry to kick off 2016. This is the last of the however many there are. So the Buccaneers are a team that has been so good the past 2 weeks. And the past 3 weeks. Beat the Chiefs, beat the Steelers, beat the Chargers, and now get to face a Saints team that has just lost a tough game against the Lions. This is going to be a fun team to watch down the stretch and to see if they can end up beating the Falcons in the NFC South race. That would be insane, absolutely insane. I'm going with the Buccaneers. I just think the Saints showed last week that they're just not going to be competitive, and it may be close, but I think the Buccaneers take it. All right, there we go. Now we're at Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys look to get revenge against the Giants on Sunday Night Football, and now we have a team who is now 11-1, who just clinched a playoff berth, looking to get revenge on the only team that has beat them this year, which is the Giants. They were, essentially, they were a, Terrence Williams, run away off into the sidelines, like that play away from actually winning that game. But regardless of that, looking at this game, on the surface, it seems like the Cowboys are going to win. I think that the Giants are going to be a little bit more competitive than that, especially in a rivalry game. I think that they're going to put up a good fight. Hopefully more of a fight than they put up against the Steelers. They need to get something going on offense because defense has been dominating. I cannot believe I'm saying that about the fucking Giants. But that's what it is. Their offense is not clicking, but their defense has been playing well. There needs to be plays on both sides of the ball, big time, for the Giants in order to beat the Cowboys. So I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. But hey, if the Giants can get this, oh my goodness gracious, with that rock the playoff picture, and that would really help us. But I doubt it's gonna happen. I think the Cowboys get it done. And last but not least, probably, I don't know, I think this is the playoff matchup I'm most looking forward to, even despite all the hype over Thursday night and Sunday night. The Ravens against the Patriots. And the reason why this is so intriguing to me, because the Ravens have always played the Patriots tough. And now it's even more intriguing with Rob Gronkowski out. Patriots got a little of a break last week going up against the Rams. But Ravens are coming off a dominant win over a Dolphins team that has been trying to get into the playoffs. Now they meet, and it's going to be in front of the New England crowd, so that's going to be a little tough for the Ravens. And this will be the first time these guys are meeting since the playoff meeting in 2014. There's so many good storylines to this game. I'm really looking forward to it. I always go this route. I'm going with the Patriots. But I expect a good game. And that is what will close out our predictions. Guys, we are in December football. We are in the last 4 weeks of the season. It is getting down to the wire. Who knows what's going to happen? My predictions could get blown to the wind, or I can go 16-0. Who knows? But every team is playing. No more buys, no more rest. It's a race to the finish, and it's going to be fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.